Hey guys, up? This is Dave from ConMenRDW here, and those Nintendo ninjas are working overtime tonight, dude. Yeah, man, today was a rough day for Nintendo because just a few hours ago, some lucky gamer out there, I'm super jealous, got their hands on a Nintendo Switch. Like, not just a demo version, but an actual Nintendo Switch in the box and everything. So, through their alternative means, scalping, but through some special means, they ended up getting their hands on a Nintendo Switch, and they just couldn't wait to show this to the world, could they? They couldn't do much because they didn't have any games, and the eShop isn't up because they can't update the system, because if they updated the system, Nintendo would find out about it, and then they'd basically be fucked all the way through. So they basically got all the content they could out of a blank system, and they did an unboxing video, and they did a initial startup video. Personally, since I pre-ordered my Nintendo Switch, I'm not gonna watch somebody open one, so I didn't watch the unboxing video, but I did watch the initial startup UI interface video. If you want to watch them, I'm sure you can find them. Somebody posted them earlier, but they got taken down by Nintendo, of course. But then people re-uploaded the video multiple times over throughout the day, so there's a couple people that have the video up. I'll actually find one for you and put the link in the description down below if you want to check that out. And also, here's a card. But because those videos would most likely be taken down within the next couple hours, I took it upon myself to take notes on the UI video, and I'm gonna basically go through a walkthrough of everything that's going on in that video right now. So without further ado, this is what happens when you turn on a Nintendo Switch system for the first time. So the cool thing is, right out of the box, it's just touchscreen. It's just like setting up a 3DS or a Wii U. You can touch all the options instead of actually using buttons. So first he said his language, English. Next up is region. It's either America, Europe, Australia, or Japan. America. Then you have the option to set up the Wi-Fi. Of course he didn't set the Wi-Fi up on this thing, because if he did that, he'd basically be putting a red target on his head, so he didn't do that. This next up is very interesting. The Switch asked him if he was going to be connecting to a TV, but he picked no. So what that means is, straight out of the box, you never have to even connect your Switch to an actual HD TV. Like, you can just play it handheld mode all the time and not even worry about it. So the next step was basically telling him to detach the Joy-Cons, because he had them connected to the actual system itself. He detached the Joy-Cons, and then it basically was like you can pop open the kickstand and put it on the table, like for tabletop mode. And he basically synced up the Joy-Cons to the system. Then after he set up the Joy-Cons, he was able to make a profile. Now, making a profile is just like making a profile on your Wii U. You set a profile picture and you set a username. With the profile pictures though, instead of making a me, you can just they have default pictures of Nintendo characters. The ones he had available were Yoshi, Bowser, Samus, Pikmin, the two owls from Animal Crossing, the Hylian Shield and Sword, Twilight Princess version Zelda, Inkling Kid, Inkling Squid, and also there was an icon that said me on it. So that means you can make Miis on the Nintendo Switch for sure, and have those as placements for your profile picture. That's already a lot of options for profile pictures, but then under those, it had a more options button. So I'm wondering if there's an option for, like, are there profile picture icons for every Nintendo franchise ever made or something? How many profile pictures come built in on this thing by default? So after he chose a profile picture, he was able to make a username for that profile, and it said it can be changed at any time. So this is basically similar to the Wii U again, how when you have multiple profiles, you can make a profile for the system, but it's not connected to your Nintendo ID. So there was no option to sign in with your Nintendo Network ID just yet, maybe because he's not on the eShop. But will he be able to sync that up later, or? But after he made his profile, it asked him if he wanted to make even more profiles. Up to 8 can be put on there. There were 7 more blocks for extra profiles. He chose no because it's just him. But when I open my Nintendo Switch, I might make a Japanese region profile just so I can access the eShop. So I might do that. And then after that, he was done. He pressed the home button and he was put to the home menu, which was super barren. Like the most empty home screen I've seen on a Nintendo system in a while. Like all it was like blank squares and then the icons on the bottom. So now we're in familiar territory. We've seen this screen already from Nintendo themselves. We have the squares, which I'm assuming will be placement for games and other applications for the system. And then we have 6 buttons on the bottom, which represent news, eShop, album, Joy-Con synchronization, settings, and power. So as someone who would be nice and thorough with having this type of information, they started going through all the different buttons. It started with news. So straight after boot up, when you press the news button, it'll show you a menu with lots of different headlines. They're pretty much quick guide options right now. There's nothing from Nintendo quite yet, but I'm assuming later on when the system's out for a while, Nintendo's gonna start sending like forwarded messages to the users so they can just see like sales in the eShop or anything special that's going on through Nintendo. So yeah, there were quick guides like how to charge the system, how to access the eShop, Joy-Con features, how to use tabletop mode, how to expand memory on the system using an SD card, how to use parental controls, and also a link to what I assume is a customer service line for the Switch. But it's basically all we got right now. Next up was the eShop, which should have been the most exciting thing, but he wasn't connected to the internet yet, so we couldn't actually see anything for that. At least we have something to look forward to once the system launches. The next one is the album, which is basically the newest feature on any Nintendo console. Pretty much it's where all of your screenshots and video clips will go once you press the share button on the Joy-Con. According to the actual game system itself, it says, and quote, build your collection of memories on Nintendo Switch. It's pretty much saying you can add text to them and post these pictures on social media, so that'll be pretty cool later on. I'm guessing this is their response to not having Miiverse, so instead of posting them in the Miiverse, you can just post your screen caps and stuff like that onto your Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. There wasn't an option to see what the different types of social media will be, but I'm assuming Twitter and Facebook are a pretty solid bet. Next up is the Joy-Con sync menu, which has the option to change grips, controller order, and also pair new controllers. And it also shows the battery life for all of the controllers that are synced up to the system, and also the Nintendo Switch itself if it's in handheld mode. I don't know if it's going to show the battery life for the system if it's charging, but pretty much what we can confirm is that out of the box the Nintendo Switch is going to have at least 50% battery life, and the Joy-Cons are pretty much well charged. They were like at 75-80% battery life, and considering they have like 20 hours of battery life, that's still pretty good out of the box. Alright, and this next part is very beefy. We have the settings. So first up we have airplane mode, which I'm kind of surprised is on the system. It makes sense because in the reveal trailer, dude was on an airplane, but also my 3DS doesn't need to be in airplane mode to be on an airplane, so I'm not sure why it has airplane mode. I don't actually understand how airplane mode works, to be honest. But the Nintendo Switch has airplane mode. You can adjust your screen brightness. You can screen lock. I don't know if this means that when you sleep your Nintendo Switch, you can actually have to put in a code to unlock it, or if that's just a more intricate way of going in and putting it in a sleep mode. I'm not exactly sure. Then we have the parental controls, internet, then data management. The Nintendo Switches straight out of the box are 32 gigs of space built in. But there were only 25.9 gigs of space available on this dude's Switch, and he had nothing on it. So, considering 25 gigs of space, and you might want to download a couple games within the first month or so, I would highly suggest probably getting that SD card. I might toss a 64 gig into my system just to start off. Maybe a 128, I don't know, but 25 gigs straight out the box is... Then there's an option to manage your software, and also your save data, so that's interesting because I'm not sure if on 3DSs you can do that where you can just manage the save data and the game's data separately, but I know on the Nintendo Wii U you can't do that, so that's a different thing. So you can actually have maybe save data saved. If you want to free up some space, you can delete the actual full game and get a nice chunk of save data gone, but then actually keep the memory of that file on your system, so that's pretty cool. You can do that. And then there's a part to manage your screenshots, and in the future also video clips. You can manage those in the settings also. Then we got a users tab that basically lets you see all of the users on the system, and then there's an option to skip selection screen. So if you have a Wii U and you have multiple people on that system, or even if you don't, right when you turn the system on, it shows your profile or all the profiles on the system, and then it lets you select what profile you want to use. But if it's just one person using the system, you don't need to select profile, so you can just skip that altogether by selecting skip profile selection or skip selection screen. And then you can also add users on the settings as well. You know how in the beginning you can make a Mii for your profile? On the home screen there is no Mii maker option. You have to go to the settings, and then there's a Mii button, and you can make a Mii. You can create and edit Miis in the settings. There's no place in the home screen like a Mi Maker or Mi Plaza yet. But so far I know you have to go into the settings to do that. He didn't make a Mi, so we don't know what it looks like yet. So that's still under wraps, but you have to go to the settings to make Mi's now. Then there was the Amiibo tab where you can register your owner, nickname the Amiibo, delete game data on the Amiibo, reset Amiibo, basic Amiibo things. If you dealt with Amiibo before, same difference, nothing's changed yet. This next tab got me very, very, very excited. A themes tab. Straight out the box, there's only 2 on there by default, which is a black background and a white background. But there's themes now, guys. We have themes. So that has, the possibilities of that makes me so excited. So if we actually get different Joy-Con colors and themes, the fact that we get to customize our Switches like this is super exciting for me. So I'm happy there's a themes tab. Then there's a notifications tab, and then there's a sleep mode tab, which gives you the option to auto sleep. So I'm guessing if you're not using your system for a while, it just automatically sleeps itself. It has the option to automatically do that when playing on console mode, and then the option to auto sleep when it's connected to TV. So you can turn those off and switch between those as you want to in the settings. Then there's a controllers and sensors tab where you can calibrate the control sticks, calibrate motion controls, test input devices. I don't know quite what test input devices means. And also the fact that you can calibrate the control sticks, I guess just make the sensitivity more or less sensitive by default. Then there's TV settings. You can set the TV resolution. He pressed it and it gave him the option of auto or 480. So I don't know if that depends on the TV that you're using, or since he wasn't even connected to a TV at all, that might vary, but that was very interesting. You can set the RGB range, adjust the screen size, screen burn res, TV sound, blah blah blah. Then there was the system tab where you can update the system. He didn't do that. You can give the console itself a nickname, so you can give your Switch a nickname and also have a profile with a nickname on the system itself. You can set the language, region, date, and time just like you can when you started the system up. And that's all the settings. Lots of stuff there, but it's good we got to see that now because the confirmation of Mi's and themes have me super excited. So after going out of the settings, he pressed the power button on the menu, which basically gave him the option to sleep the system or turn it off. He just turned off the system. Then you have to press the power button on the Joy-Cons. No, the power button on the system itself to wake it. So then after powering it off, you turn it back on. And then there was a quick menu. I did not know there was a quick menu. If you have a Wii U, you know that if you press it on, there's a quick menu that shows your recently played games, and also a little thing showing some news on the bottom. But this one, there's your news, the most recent news is on the left side, and then there's a big open space. I guess that can show games that you were playing or what you were last doing before you slept the system or turned it off. You can just see what you're doing right there. And then to wake the system from sleep, you actually have to press the home button 3 times. I don't know why 3 times, but he just pressed it 3 times, and then it just went straight to the home menu. And that was basically it. That was everything he did straight from opening a Nintendo Switch out of the box. What I got out of this was the Nintendo Switch's design is super clean. I love the way it looks. There's no channels, there's no boxes. It doesn't look as cartoony as it used to do. There's nothing extra a second screen where you can see a Miiverse thing going on. There's no channels. It's just straight up turn on the system. Here's your games. Here's your menu options. Jump in there. And it's very sleek, and that's what I like about it. But the promise of themes is, I can't wait. There was no menu music. There was no ambient sound that you usually hear on a Wii or a 3DS or Wii U. There was none of that. It was just silent. So maybe when they add themes later on, you might be able to hear some ambient noise from those themes when you get them on your system. But yeah, guys, that's all we got from the Nintendo UI leak that happened today. You didn't see it here, but you can always look it up. Like I said, I got the link down in the description below, and also I got a card right here for you guys if you want to check that out. If you guys want any more Switch news, I'm going to be doing some stuff for the Switch since it comes out in 2 weeks. And also there's a Nintendo Switch and Play event happening the Sunday of February 19th in Chicago. So if you don't know about that, now you know. I'll also have the link in the description down there for you if you want to check that out too. So thanks for listening, guys, and I'll see you later. Bye.